In this video, we will discuss about some interesting academic findings about two strategies quite common in the new technology industry. That is, one is best of breed and the other is integrated bundle strategy. Everything started from an interesting work of two young and very promising professors at Harvard, Andy Wu and Scott Duke Kominers. And they analyze the acquisition made by Salesforce of Slack, suggesting that it could be a strategic mistake in that kind of acquisition. The reason why there could be a mistake is because there is two different strategies, and probably the one that Salesforce is applying is not fitting with the Slack competitive advantage. But before going to conclusions, let's give a look at which are these two strategies. The first one is best of breed. Best of breed means you are focusing all your efforts as a company on maximizing the quality of a single standalone application. So Slack is an example, and the other example is Zoom. Two applications that are doing just one thing for the customer. The other approach is integrated bundle strategy. So an ecosystem of applications that are sold together, where those applications do not necessarily have to be the best of their categories. And often this is not the case. So you put together a number of applications. It's good enough kind of melting of things, but no one of those applications is the best one in his, let's say, category or its job to be done for the customer. These two strategies, let's say, boil down to a simple question. Best of breed usually is better for customers because they do the best thing in the best way, but at the end, usually, this best of breed product tend to finish in a bundle. So the question that we would like to discuss here is when should go, let's say, on a best of breed approach being a standalone product, and when you should be bundled, and when you can survive or gain competitive advantage in both cases. And the two examples is exactly that we will discuss, or that we will use examples are Slack and Zoom, out of which Zoom is still at the moment an independent application, a standalone best of breed application, and the other one is being, as said, acquired by Salesforce. The main point, because we think is interesting, the best of breed, is because the applications that are bundled usually are not innovating enough. Therefore, there are best of breed products that innovate more, do better service to customer, create more value, but then at the end they tend to be acquired by someone who is bundling together different applications. Here there is the first case, probably, let's say, at least in the tech industry, the first case, that is the acquisition of PowerPoint by Microsoft in 1987. So in the past century, and the idea was exactly this one. So it was to put together the company, the application of PowerPoint within a much more bundled of Office application that in that moment Microsoft was setting up. The cost for total was the company creating involving the best of breed presentation application that was PowerPoint, cost Microsoft 40 million, so a bit less of the 25 billion that Salesforce pay for Slack. And if you look at the page in which on the New York Times was present, the acquisition was not a big deal or a big news, but was a big change in the bundle strategy of Microsoft and in our Office applications usage. Just to see how much was important, the PowerPoint you are seeing now, it's a PowerPoint from Microsoft, so it comes in the bundle of Office since 1987, and I'm registering this video on Zoom, and I work with my colleagues on Slack to prepare the charts. But from there on, Office did a number of other acquisition or develop a number of other applications, so that the Office bundle today is quite, let's say, coherent and complete, and on that you should also add the Teams that since a couple of years become one of the additional products come with Office. But remaining in the tech industry, you have Facebook that bundled in some way together Instagram and WhatsApp. But again, if you give a look or just a spotlight outside the tech industry, LVMH is an integrator, a bundled strategy application of the same kind of strategy in the luxury industry. So LVMH recently bought Tiffany, but it's just the last one of a number of other brands that LVMH is managing under a bundled strategy. So before discussing what we should do, let's try to give a look of the different that there are between the two strategies. So best of breed and integrated bundle. And basically, starting with the best of breed, the key point is focus. You do one thing and you must do that better than anyone else. So to obtain that kind of result, the first point is prioritize. So the organization is fully dedicated to one thing, to one application, to one job to be done for the customer. And this gives much more of efficacy, agile to innovate, capability on be focused on only one thing. And the example of Zoom is incredible because the founder of Zoom, Eric Yuan, worked for 10 years on WebEx, and he reported that he left the company because he didn't see a single happy customer in those 10 years. So he wants to create something that is better. But the little dirty secret of the reason why WebEx was not the best one is basically was not the Cisco priority. And so there was no reason why to be the best of breed product once you have to create a bundled of products. The second point of best of breed strategy is that you don't have product trade-off. So when you have to put together more than one application, you have to trade off the quality of one application vis-a-vis the other. So the example reported by Professor Wu and Professor Kominers is the trade-off between integrating Microsoft Word, OneDrive, and Sharepoint that was, since not too much time ago, quite complex and usually difficult or impossible. And interestingly, or as they say, ironically, it was easier to save your Word document on Dropbox than on OneDrive. That is the bundle of Microsoft. So you don't have to, let's say, make this kind of putting together a number of trade-offs when you put together in your bundle a number of applications. The third interesting, probably most interesting point is the customization on the customer side. So the idea is that if you have a number of best of breed applications, you can do your custom bundled. So you can choose instead of having Microsoft all package, you can have Zoom, you can have Dropbox, and you can have Prezi, and so on and so forth. So you, as a customer, you can pick the best of breed products, and you can manage on your own that bundle. And here is an important point because there's two interesting additional insight. The first one is an ex-ante insight. This idea of having modular that the customer can put together is resonating in the early research of Professor Christensen about it, about modularization and integration in the theory of the value chain constant, saying that there is a continuous pendulum between modularity and integration. And you can easily find an additional video I did on this point. And then there is a second important, interesting insight that is that there is an ex-post insight on this customer-side customization. It is the fact that little by little, the best-of-breed application can partner with other best-of-breed in doing some platformization. What is a platformization? Is when a best-of-breed application putting together other different applications become a platform. So if you see many of these best-of-breed applications tend to become a platform, tend to pick together and put together different companies within a single platform, creating at the end of the story another bundle that is made out of best-of-breed applications. Again, if you want to give a look on outside the tech industry, and you want to pick again the LVMH case in the luxury industry, is the same. What LVMH is doing once he buy or he owns a brand is platforming that brand within the LVMH ecosystem. In that case, platforming means sharing suppliers, so having different source of ingredients for the luxury product. And the second case of platforming in the LVMH case is locations. So you share the knowledge, or you share physical location in airports, for example. And the third platformization in the case of LVMH is the sharing of the products. So if you are Montblanc and you are best of breed in fountain pens, if you enter the platform of LVMH, you little by little start to sell also leather goods or jewelry and so on that are coming from other best of breed application, if you want, in the LVMH platform. So this point is to say that little by little, if you start to partner with other best of breed, you tend to become a platform, but at the end, the platform is not much different from a bundle, apart from the ownership of different best of breed inputs of that platform. And now I'll give a look on the integrated bundle strategy. The first and probably the most important point is that if you have a bundle strategy, you can integrate different applications and you have a price advantage. So you can higher your price. This is, let's say, economics for dummies. If I have the capability of bundling together two products, I can higher the price because I can extract more value from the customer, given or let's say supposing that that customer is a customer that is the segments of our customers are different. Here the case is the example is Scott and Andy. Andy has a willingness to pay of $10 for Word and $8 for PowerPoint, and Andy is the other way around, 8 for Word and 10 for PowerPoint. So if you sell unbundled, you will get 8 times 2 times 2. If you sell bundled for 18, you will gather 2 of additional pricing from both, and so you will get to 36, getting $4, 2 per customer or 2 per segment if you want, and this is giving you pricing power vis-a-vis customer segments. The second point is efficiency in go-to-market sales. So if you can sell more, because you don't have only higher price, but you have higher sales because you sell 36 instead of 8, being one single application. So you can justify higher cost of acquisition because once you enter in a customer, once you sell once to the customer, you can sell more. And so you have economy of scale in acquiring customers. The Microsoft example is quite interesting because it has a long heritage of relationship with customers and also with partners, like in the Accenture case, with selling Microsoft software products. And then third point, you can driving value to integration. You are the integrator, so you can put together applications that are complementary. You can choose which is the best bundle in your integrated bundle strategy. And the second follow-up value for that is that buyers in big organizations like CTOs can have, let's say, one-stop shop and buying the average good enough set of bundled application for them. So this is, let's say, the synthesis of the two strategy. In the next video, we will see how actionable implication these two strategy has for management decision making.